And good morning from beautiful Waynesville, North Carolina. I don't even know the date. It's October the 7th, 2023, on a good crisp fall morning. Finally. Good morning. Welcome to the Jonathan Crompton Show here with Tuscola Football. Good morning, Chuck Fiebernetz down there in Winston-Salem.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing well. I got Orchard coffee at in my arm reach, and I'm ready to go. It's hot. It's delicious. And I was hoping that you'd wear that jacket that you wore last night.
Oh, did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Multiple people let me know, but hey, I was cold. It's the only thing I had because I was going to be a tough guy. I don't need a jacket. Well, I'm not as tough as I used to be.
Well, I know, but
tough times don't last.
That's
tough
right.
People do.
So good morning and welcome to the show, and a good cathartic win over the Eagles of East Henderson last night, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
And 41-0. Defense really played well. You did what you needed to do offensively. Just a much needed win.
Yeah,
much needed win for the Mountaineers, and a beautiful setting out in East Flat Rock. A really nice place to go. Great people out there.
Yep.
They always, the people are friendly.
Yep.
And I don't get to eat as much as I used to, but they got the best concessions. Their food is good. Their hospitality is good, and it was good to get away with a W. So defensively, let's kind of start on the defensive side of the ball. If is that good with y'all?
Yep.
You good with that, Chucky?
I'm good. And I just want to add that East Henderson is a friendly place until you beat them 41-0. Then you have to fight for your life to get out of the parking lot.
Right. They do a good job. Coach Brackett's he's doing a good job with being hired heck, I thought I was hired late. He was hired in June. So for what he's up against, he's doing a great job out there. And, we wish him all the best the rest of the year and moving forward.
Absolutely. Boy, Jonathan, let's start on the defensive side of the ball. And defensively, I really, really was impressed with just the way we tackled well.
Mm-hmm.
We had multiple hats on the football, created turnovers, put pressure when they decided they were going to throw, because again, you talk about all the time, the other people watch film too, and they're going to go to the 3-by-1 set when they want to throw, and they're going to try to get us one-on-one. We put a lot of pressure on the quarterback last night.
Yeah.
Just a ton of pressure. Our defensive line really played well. Linebackers played well, and defensive backs stepped up. And I'm going to tell you, I was so impressed with our young freshman last night, Ty Walker. Chuck, if he was a heat-seeking missile, and I love the fact that, number one, he's just a freshman.
Yep.
But, man, he laid some wood out there, just some big boy hits. 14-year-old kid playing against some of these guys are men.
Yeah. No, our whole defense played well. I think Coach Chambers did a tremendous job of coming up with the game plan of what we wanted with the pressure package and giving our guys a chance to make a play and trying to overload blitz sometimes and sometimes bluffing and not bringing the pressure. So the game plan, I think, was executed to the level that we wanted.
It was good to see.
We gave up a couple plays in zone, but that was guys were getting risky and trying to make the highlight play. So you can't be mad at that. The good part is, coach them on the sideline is you can call them over there and talk to them and see what they were thinking and get them to explain it, and then teach how they can turn that into, instead of them catching it, how can we either be a pass breakup or an interception with just little technique things. But there was maybe 2 or 3 of those the whole night. So overall, the defense played tremendous.
Yeah,
they really did. start to finish.
And I'm going to throw some stuff out there, Chuck, because I know you got some questions. But real quick before you ask, Hudson Blackburn, another great game. Ty Walker played well. Brandon Jordan, and he's on the island out there last night again. He played well. KJ as always.
No, I want to do something real quick when you said KJ. Just a quick shout out to KJ. I did on the bus last night. KJ's a senior. Last night was his first varsity touchdown, and he got a trifecta: punt return touchdown, rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown, and an interception. So, just overall tremendous game by everybody. But KJ played lights out, start to finish. He really did.
And thank you for saying that. And seriously, because I've got him circled, but I'm glad you said that because
KJ,
that means something.
And I'm gonna mess with him a little bit if he's watching this.
He is.
If you just trust me on the punt return yard line to stand on, you'll catch the second one. Because the other one, tell him what yard line to get on. He catches it, takes a touchdown. Fair catches the third one. KJ, got to pay attention to me, man. No, but in all seriousness, great game by him. We were thrilled to see him get in the end zone, but especially going from 0 to 3 like that. So that was fun to see.
Yeah, and Walker Bolden.
Yeah,
and I think Chuck, when he's talking about the blitz and coming off that side, I think, and again, I'm just watching from the stands.
Walker's a heat-seeking missile out there,
but he absolutely came off the edge last night, and he forced. I want to tell you, he forced 2 fumbles. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know that I think he forced at least 2 balls on the ground last night. Carter Purvis, sophomore, and our guys up front, Jesse Bledsoe. He's the kind of guy that if I'm in a brawl, I think if I'm in a street, I'm in a street fight, Chuck, I think I want Jesse. I want number 65 with me.
When the old cliche, that's what we try to teach them. What guys do you want in your foxhole? You want him in your foxhole.
Yeah. Now, I might have to drag him and bring him back in and say, we can't leave the foxhole right now because he's going after you. But that was, Chuck, it was fun to see.
He will defend a small country's border by himself.
Yeah. And so defensively, 4 quarters, and they bowed their back there, Chuck. We were going to give up a touchdown. They were driving, and they bowed their back. And I'm going to turn it over to Chuck for a minute.
Well, to go off of that real quick, what you were saying right there, the thing that was most impressive to me were 2 things. One, it's 1st and goal on roughly the 3, and they end up 4th and 18, or 4th and goal on the 18 and not getting it. That in itself, I don't care what anybody says. Doesn't matter what level you're at, who you're playing. When it's 1st and goal on the 3 and they end up 4th and 18, that says a lot about your defense, your game plan, your identity. So that was awesome. And it was also really good to get some of our JV kids in late in the game to get them kind of get their feet wet for Friday nights. You know what I mean? A couple of our 8-quarter kids. So that was fun. And they didn't back down either. And obviously we know they wouldn't because of Thursday nights, but that was really good to see. We got our JV center, Avery Messer in, August Fama, Isaiah Hyatt, got them in on defense. So those things were good to see and watch them go out there and compete and get it, a couple drives. And yes, we, 8 quarters, so we used one of their quarters, but last night was completely worth it. And they definitely showed up and did well in the opportunity.
Jonathan, first a little statement going back to KJ. The hardest thing in football is to try and teach a man to stand on the 10, back to punt, and don't back up.
Don't back up. And I always like to mess with KJ because KJ knows he's my guy. So I'm trust me, I'm gonna mess with him Monday morning.
Okay,
it's gonna happen. Heck, I did it in the middle of the game, right? But what he did last night, the move he made, he got to the sideline, but the one cut and go, what we try to teach is as soon as you make your decision, foot in the ground, go, get north and south, don't go east and west, was was really good. I hadn't seen that in a long time from in our conference from somebody that can just put their foot in the ground and go like he did on that punt return. So that was really good to see in the burst to be able to get in the end zone. Very happy for him in that sense.
What a spectacular night for KJ Vang, shining out against East Henderson. Question I have here is: it's always nice to get a shutout, and it's always nice to win, but it is magnificent to win and shut out your opponent before your big rivalry game. And take me through, seeing that we're on the defensive side. You're standing on the sidelines. Tell me the kids and their names of where you're sitting there looking at them going, they're getting it. They're close. They're what timing. Tell me those kids that you kind of enjoyed watching last night.
Well, Dad kind of already went through all of them in the sense of it's been happening for a few weeks now. And this is what I've been trying to tell people. We're a lot closer than people think with what we're doing schematically and what we're doing teaching the game of football and understanding what we're trying to do. And the kids are learning the game of football. And so it's like I said, it's been a few weeks in the making. It wasn't just last night where it clicked. We've been preaching it from a whole staff standpoint. And last night was a good next step in the process. I'll say it that way. But like I said, it's not just one kid; it's a collective effort. And that's what, like I've said, probably the first or second show. We preach to kids: we'll never be 100% individually, but we'll be 100% collectively. When we're 100% collectively, then we're good, and that goes for any team, right? If everybody's clicking on all cylinders, then they're a dangerous team and a dangerous opponent. So that's where, like I said, it's been happening for a few weeks. There's always been like 2 or 3 plays here or there. Situation here that just a fluke deal that we had to burn a timeout or something. Luckily, last night those situations did not arise.
But defensive line, tell me about our defensive line last night, and it's good for them to tell me who were our 3 guys on defense.
Well, we rotate.
Okay,
there's more than 3. That's what we're rotating. We get a lot of guys in and out.
Yeah.
So it's a collective effort. So it's not that's the thing. I know it's singled out KJ, but it's not an individual statistic game. We did had to call Bryce Cosby up from JV, and he stepped up. Number 73, he stepped up well.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's the kids. Let's say it's like I've said it for weeks. They've bought in. They're busting their butt. They're playing hard, and they're playing for each other, and that's the biggest thing. Because you already named pretty much the whole defense at that point,
and they played really well.
They did. We needed that one last night from just an overall standpoint. It's always good to get a win, especially on the road. Well, and
then I think the other thing that I want to talk about before we move to the offensive side of the ball is punt return, special teams, punt return.
Mm-hmm.
Great job of that, and our kicker last night played really, really well. Christopher Wells played really well, and our long snapper, Cannon Gentry.
Yeah, last night was Cannon's first time long snapping.
Cannon came in there, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was his first time long snapping all year.
Let me ask that question: is your long snapper Cameron Gentry?
Cannon
Gentry. I want to get it right. Was it his first time long snapping, or was that the long snapper that was injured and came back?
First time.
Whoa, that's great.
So special teams last night, and I think we got one in the end zone, correct? On the kickoff, we kicked it through the end zone one time.
Yeah.
And the thing, again, the little things that I sat up there and noticed were the effort on the kickoff, especially out wide. Because I'll tell you, last night, when you watch the film, Brandon Jordan, first one down the field, stayed in his lane, made 3 tackles on kickoffs, and unloaded on a kid one time. So it's coming.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like it's been a few weeks in the making. I mean, there was a situation on kickoff that, and this is the referee crew last night was unbelievable in the sense of explanations, communication, letting the kids play. Right? It's football. There are things they did, and so I'd asked a question one time it was on our kickoff.
Yeah.
And the guy, it was funny. He kind of looked at me and said, this, and this, and said, I wasn't watching the full time. I was talking to our line coach, Coach Sluter. And then I look up and I say this, and he goes, Coach, we're letting them play. And I was like, I'm good with that. It's football. You know what I mean? Instead of it being nitpicky, they were, it was holding's holding. I get it. Blocking the back. So they were understanding that they're high school age kids. It's the game of football. Let them play, but keep them in line. And they did a tremendous job with that. And I'm saying that to say, for us, Jesus, number 20, on kickoff, there was at one point, and this is where, like I said, it's coming along, and our guys didn't mean it literally. They're like, hey, we call him Zeus. If that guy comes back at you, we're gonna get him for you. And he goes, guys, no fighting. Coach says no fighting. Like it's coming along. It's clicking for guys. And Jesus is in my first period weight room and bust his butt and got in there and played really good on defense late in the game.
Yes, he did. Mr. Gonzalez played really well.
That's the stuff that's fun to see because it's coming along. The mental side of what we're teaching and preaching is sticking where let them retaliate. Let's just go play our game. Let them do the talking. Let them do whatever it is. Let's go play our game. And I think Jesus played tremendous on special teams and then got in there and, by God, played really well at corner.
Johnson, talk about what it meant. You started to mention that. Talk about what it meant to you last night to, 1, get the win, 2, to get the shutout, and the reaction of your team after, because we all know what lies before you in a week's time. Talk about what that meant to your football team. Yeah,
well, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first shutout in 3 years? I think it is. It's either 3 or 4. I'm pretty sure it's 3. So that's an accomplishment. That's a big thing. And shout out to Coach Chambers for the game plan defensively and calling the game and seeing it the way that he wanted it to play out. And then, obviously, it's always good to get a win. Like I said, get a win on the road. But like I tell our kids every week, we're going to win with class and we're going to lose with class, right? So I think the guys handled themselves well on the field right there as we're talking, handled themselves well getting off the field and not being disrespectful, making sure the locker room's cleaned up, getting to the bus. Those are the things that we're preaching to our kids. And they did a tremendous job with that. They are, they're always itching for next week. But the good thing that they didn't do is they didn't overlook the week and the task at hand, which was last night. So I give all the credit to the kids for having a phenomenal week of practice last week. The best one, and I told them this is probably the best week of practice in 3 to 4 weeks of just consistently being competitive and focusing in. So it all played out well. It all played out the way that we kind of wanted it to. And, now it's on to the next one.
Right. I'll take a break right here to get my Orchard coffee.
And while you're drinking your Orchard coffee, I want to thank our sponsors. Come see us down here at Crompton's Auto Mart, CromptonAuto.com. We've got a lot full of some really neat stuff: SUVs, trucks, Jeeps, 4-cylinders, 6-cylinders, 4-wheel drives, 2-wheel drives, front-wheel drives. We're loaded up and got some good stuff, and I don't care about your credit. And I won't be here Monday, but come down and take a test drive. Frankie will be down here. He'll take care of you. Orchard coffee. How much have you drank today, Chuck? How much have you done? Well, that's like 2 cups together.
It's 1.5. The other one's only half full.
These callers.
We're on our way.
Coffee mugs. They're big. They're like 24 ounces. This is my second cup, but it's also my last cup because I'm out.
Oh, well, you'll be here next week.
Hold on. Hold the mug up.
Okay.
Where's the power tea? Come on, Chuck. Come on, Chuck.
Hey, you would have seen, knowing that story last night about somebody wearing a red jacket on the Coca-Cola side, I would have worn some, but I was fearful of the reaction of your mother. Yep, there you go. The power.
We got to get you one to put on that mug.
Get it for me.
So,
But
and Sutton and Sons Antiques. I'm going to tell you they've got again. I talk about the coolest stuff. They've got stuff. They've got uh, uh, stuff from the Civil War. They've got furniture. He's got an airplane. They got tractors, old antique tractors sitting out front. They've got people that like these old gas station signs.
Mm-hmm.
They've got those things, and they have a vintage.
I need to get my mother-in-law down there.
A vintage pinball machine. A vintage, real working pinball machine that you need to go take a look at. They everything that you can imagine, from trinkets to furnish your house with stuff. If you want an airplane, they have an airplane body down there. So they've got vintage vehicles. They got a couple of vintage trucks. I might buy them and sell them down here.
There you go. I love it.
So anyway, we'll get back to our sponsors here before we get off the air. Defensively, great job. Special teams, great job. Offensively, now, of course, we everything, it's all, we always talk about 8. I thought, Jed did a good job last night, as always, especially when they came off the backside, because they did some things. Every once in a while, they'd have more numbers than we have on the backside. Just not often, but enough. And he did a good job of avoiding that pressure from the backside. KJ was something else. Gavin was fun to see. Gavin be Gavin last night. He's getting, and I think he's getting where he needs to be. Cooper Williamson. Before we get deep into this, sometimes you just have those kids that it means something, and it means to everybody. But he played well last night, ran between the tackles well, did everything, almost broke like 4 or 5 that were going to be long TD runs. But there at the end, a little, it didn't affect the game, and we were basically just running the clock out, and he got hit from the backside, and the ball came out.
But it wasn't that. It was the exchange, and him and Bo have never had a handoff with each other.
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, he took that personal.
Well, yeah,
and his reaction was not it was just, I saw him come to the sidelines and come to you. And I thought that was pretty special. That, to me, things like that mean more than winning and losing.
Yeah, no.
His reaction, and the fact that I don't know what he said, but I bet you I know what he said.
Well, no, but and that's
special,
and that's not going to be obviously talked about here. But the offense played. We did what we were supposed to do, put points on the board, and good thing is we at a certain point we got to get some guys in the game and get them some more experience and focus on the run game and try to get more meaningful run reps, I guess you would call it, in game-like environment instead of it just being in practice. So that was a good thing to get double team work. And, they give credit where credit's due to East Henderson. They played a 3-3 stack, which is 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers stacked right behind them, and brought an extra guy off the edge. That's perfectly fine. I'm not going to change my game plan in that sense, that I knew if we took care of our business, what we could do. So I wasn't going to adjust instantly on the run. I wanted to force our running backs and our linemen to work on inside zone.
And they did a great job.
And so he did. Now, is it a great look to run inside zone into? No. But what a better way to get your meaningful reps practice in there when you've got a lead and you're going to get a bad look, and let's go make it work. Let's communicate with each other at the line of scrimmage. Let's understand who we're blocking in, the tailback and the quarterback knowing who's not blocked. Those things, because that's going to play big down the road. Teams are going to be able to overload, right?
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Who were the linemen last night? That the O line that answered the bell against.
They all did. I mean, honestly, all five that played last night played really well, and they all had their moments. It's a football game. You're not going to block 100% correct or grade out 100% in any game. It's just not. If we grade out 100%, then we're not grading hard enough. But they knew when they go, oh crap, they did this. I missed him. I stepped too far.
Oh, they played well.
They knew when they did that, which is a good thing because they're learning how to block zone. They're like the zone scheme, and it's still a work in progress. But by God, we're a lot better off right now than we were 4 or 5 weeks ago, and that's a good thing because you don't want to say, "Hey, we're the same as we were 4 or 5 weeks ago." So I think last night they played really well. They played with confidence, right? Honestly, they really did. If we did any play action, they pass blocked like that with confidence. It was just an all around really good team win. Offensively, at a certain point, like I said, we got to just line up in the same formation and run the ball and get those reps with the guys, knowing what we're going to get defensively, knowing we're going to get overload. But then that also shows the tailbacks when the overload backside does come. If you see it and you feel it and you squeeze that hole good enough and you cut back, that's when you gash them. Hence what Gavin did on his 2 touchdown runs.
And just in those kids, again, the kids up front did really, really well. I thought Brooks did a good job of leading them as always. Yep. It's fun to see. And again, I know you are what your record says you are, but I'm a believer in what you said last week. We are what we are, but boy, we're getting closer.
Yeah, and we are, and we know this is a work in progress. It's not an overnight thing to change a culture and to change a offensive schematic. The whole defensive scheme changed. So it's not an overnight deal. It's not a magic wand or a genie lamp or anything like that. So the kids understand that, and they've been outstanding in their preparations with what we do week in, week out. But like I said, this past week of practice was arguably the best week of practice, the most competitive week of practice we've had in a long time, just with each other, and it showed out in the game. It did.
Jonathan,
so go ahead, Chucky.
Yeah, what was the long snapper's name again?
Cannon Gentry.
Well, Cannon Gentry just got his name mentioned 3 times. Where have you been all season, Cannon? It's great to see you have a long snapper, so now he's sitting there walking around going, "I got mentioned 3 times on the show."
Oh, Cannon. Come on, Cannon.
Now, look, what do you sit back on the sidelines and watch another guy trying to build a program, and you kind of think to yourself, I see what he's trying to do. Do you or are you just locked into what you're doing?
Oh, yeah. And obviously we're locked into what we're doing during the game. But also at a certain point, knowing when the game is, quote unquote, out of hand, not embarrassing in another program, because you never want that to happen to you. And understanding what, another team is trying to do, because at a certain point in your career, you could be on that side. You know what I mean? And so I think Coach Brackett at East I think he's going to do a good job. I do. I think he's fighting an uphill battle at the moment because of his hiring so late, right? He hadn't got to implement his whole system at the moment, but I do think that he's on the right track. I mean, guys, they hadn't had a JV team in a few years, and he's got a JV team year 1. That says a lot about him. Says a lot about the community believing in him. So last night was fun. Thursday was fun to go get to actually meet him for the first time and talk to him before the JV game and sit there and just shoot the bull, talk about football, talk about Thursday night and Friday night, and get to know each other a little bit. So, obviously we're going to go into every game trying to win every game, but at the end of the day, it is fun to be able to see kids that were not going to be able to have a program last year, to have a program at East Henderson and see a future. So at a certain point, late in the game when you can take your headset off, then you do think of those.
It's great. That is great.
Well, we got a game.
It's Saturday.
We've got a game.
It's 8:29 on Saturday morning. What's up?
We have a game next week, Waynesville.
I know I know there's a bonfire thing happening.
Yeah, and
today.
I'm sitting right here. I've got it right here tonight. It starts at 6. Get there a little early.
Well, the parade's at 5:30.
All right, you go through and tell
That's
everyone.
all. It's okay.
The parade starts at 5:30. It's over. It's 105. I just want to make sure I use the right addresses. It's 105 Mosaic Place in Waynesville. It's down in Hazelwood.
Yeah, like from what I've been told, is park at the urgent care in Hazelwood.
Park. Get there early. Gonna have a bonfire. Gonna have the parade. Gonna have just a lot of cool stuff. There's food trucks. The people, the messers that are putting this on, and with the help from the community, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's a community, and that's what I was telling our players last night. It's a great community building moment tonight. So go enjoy it, have fun. Obviously, be smart, as I've told our team, but enjoy it because you don't get these moments back. I mean,
no,
yeah, I mean you just don't. We didn't have this bonfire and parade when I was in high school, which would have been cool as crap to have. So tell the players, man, enjoy it because when it's over and you're no longer a player, it's still fun. Don't get me wrong; it's tremendous, and it's fun even more so now as the coach. But it's still nothing like it when you're the player and you're at the parade. So enjoy it, have fun, be safe. We'll, me and Tasha will be there tonight, so we're looking forward to it.
Because you were blessed. You were blessed to get to do many things, go to many places, play in many environments, from youth league all the way up and through everything. And I heard one time, people ask you, they ask you a question. They said, "Have you ever walked on the football field where it took your breath?" And the guy goes, and I heard somebody go, "Well, was it Alabama? Was it Georgia? Was it this? Was it that? Was it LSU when you were a freshman?" And you said, "Twice I walked on the field in warmups and went, Yeah. And they were going, "Oh yeah," and you said it was the high school. Mm-hmm. And the guy, there were a lot of people at this thing, and they were going, "What?" And you said, "You don't understand where I come from.
It's different.
You don't understand what this is." Mm-hmm. And there's just talking to the folks that are listening to us. It gets no better than this week. Anywhere in America, any high school environment in America, it gets no better than this week. Tuscola and Pisgah. And you can,
But see here, y'all can do that. I can't. Because of being the head coach.
Yeah, you can't.
But to me, and this is not, and I don't mean this for anybody in the public, I don't want you to get mad at me, but to me, as the head coach, yes, it is a rivalry game, but it is another game on the schedule to do what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
At the moment, I know what the game means. Hell, I played in the game. I know what it means, but my mindset, my approach has to be different than everybody else. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm not engaged in the atmosphere. But I know what this game means. Canton knows what this game means. Everybody does. But as the head coach, and same thing with the head coach down the street, we both know that we have to have a different mindset leading into this week because we have a team to make sure that is under control. So that yes, the environment will be electric, and it will be. But the reality is we have to be focused on us and not the environment as a team. We have to be focused on our plan, not the environment. That is 150%. Everybody in the community, go make it as loud as you can make it. Be as like upbeat, hyper crazy as you can make it. But from the team's perspective, we just got to take care of our business.
Yep.
You don't
because it is going to be fun because for people that have never experienced it, and I urge everybody to come. From a fan, if you've never been to this game, you need to come.
Nothing like it.
Gates will open it, if I'm not mistaken. I think we're up at 5 o'clock. You might want to get there before 5 and be in line. That's how great this rivalry is. And, even with our record and all that right now, it still has a lot of conference implications. And that's the fun part is when this game means something, it's even more special.
Right. it's you don't have the luxury of being a fan this week. You can't be a fan.
But the thing is that I have had that luxury, and it is fun as hell.
Right.
It is.
I do know that this game, we all had our first in this game. Mine was 2004 when you were senior, and the week that game was at Pisgah, and I can remember it, so well even today. But I brought people to these games. My brother, I brought friends, showed them videos. This is a thing that has taken off years ago, thanks to the Great American Rivalry series. Keeps coming back, and it's a special event. I can't describe it. I can't tell you how it is. You have to experience it. And if you haven't already, then maybe I suggest strongly that you go and experience this one this year, because it is truly one of those games. Throw the records out. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the team did the week before. Doesn't matter your big win at East Henderson. Doesn't matter what the other team, how they did. Doesn't matter who they played. This is for 3-4 hours. It is just, your mind goes all over the place looking at one thing after another, and the game hasn't even started. The craziest thing, I'll get off my soapbox, but
you talk. You're good.
The craziest thing I ever seen about this game was Wednesday. I'm watching people carry blankets in to the stadium and putting them down. This game was at Pisgah, and I was out there trying to get interviewed, and I seen people walking in blankets and setting them down and then walking off. And I asked that question. I said, what are they doing? They're reserving their seats. And it's an honor system. If you're not there and there's a blanket, in Flint, we'll take your blanket and your But there's an honor system amongst rivals here. It's the greatest rivalry on the high school level I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally. I mean, I remember my junior year, my first time out here.
Woo.
Obviously, we have to travel to CU Weatherby from the high school, and I remember Coach Nolan freaking out because we couldn't get in the entrance and get to the stadium because it was blocked with fans and cars, and he was freaking out. It was hilarious. Or now it's hilarious. At the moment, because we couldn't get in the stadium. We're like, guys, we're the football team. We're playing tonight. So they had to get people out there to come move their cars and get out of the road so we could actually pull in, because it was so packed. It's just something different about it. And that's what I'm saying. If you've never experienced it, come experience it. We're going I know on both sides, but especially at our end, we're going to do everything we can to give you the best product that we can give you, and go and try to take care of our business.
And this is a time where fans, alumni of both schools, living in Pittsburgh, living out of state, come back by midweek, and so they can attend this football game.
Yep.
I see every year somebody from out of state, many people who are at the game that come back for this game only. This is just a different animal. And it's, my first one was, like I told you, was in 2004, and I stood on the sidelines. That was the last time I stood on the sidelines, because the pressure on your chest from the fans on top and the noise. I thought, I'm not standing out here. And you couldn't even hear yourself talk. I do know this. I've never had the privilege of playing at LSU, but I got a sense you can't communicate at a Pisgah-Tuscola game with the guy next to you.
It is like I said, the environment's fun. It's loud. Everybody in Waynesville, come make it even louder. When we're on the field offensively, let's right down a little bit. When they're on the field offensively, let's raise it up. You know what I mean? But everybody, honestly, y'all need to come experience it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to experience this game, but especially, and yes, I'm biased, but especially at CU Weatherby. There's just something different about it.
And the 50-50. Somebody gets healthy financially every year this game is played.
Yeah.
I can tell you, it's a magnificent event.
So when Chuck, if you win the 50-50, where are we going? Spring training? Everything's on you?
Yeah.
Let me put pressure on him.
It's one of those you won't know if I win, but there'll be hints.
Hold on 1 second. No, he's not. If I win, he said. I have a wife to. No. Yeah. If I can keep some of the money, it's all on me. We'll go watch the Tigers and the Orioles in spring training.
That's it. And you're going to be in town, correct?
All plans to do that. Yes.
And we're going to, just so the folks will know, we're going to have a tailgate down here until time to go. And time to go,
11 in the morning.
Time to go is subject to my panic attack on when I'm just going to lock the doors and get to the stadium.
Well, the stadium will be locked.
I'll just
no, but I'm just. I want you to know, like it will be. I don't know the exact time.
And I'm gonna get with the principal, Mr. Connor.
There'll be an announcement sometime this week as well,
and we'll know exactly where we're going to get in. But I'm pretty sure that Chuck and I will have a live pregame somewhere inside the stadium. We'll be somewhere where we can try to get some quiet. And have
a lot of people be cognizant of the cell phone service.
Yeah.
So it may be spotty if you're doing live. So
we'll do the best we can. We'll do the best we can.
We're looking for a great crowd.
Yes.
I think we'll get it. I do. We've got the best fans. I mean, traveling out to East Flat Rock last night, we had a great crowd. So
I think we had more than.
I mean, we travel tremendous. So traveling to an away game, East Flat Rock, an hour away, dealing with 26, which let's call it like it is. Nobody likes 26. You know what I mean? So with that being the case, I know our fans will be at our home game being ready to go.
I will tell you, you just threw down the gauntlet. A thunderbolt from the sky. Right now, there's thousands of people in the red and black territory going, did you hear what Jonathan said? They have the best fans. Let's get out and show them who's got the best fans.
That's what the beauty
that people up.
And that's the beauty of this.
Yes.
Because look, we're neighbors and friends, and they come down. People come here all the time. And when last week, when things didn't go well, on Monday morning when I came back to work, one of my customers, a lady, walks in the door about 9:20 and goes, "Hate it for you," hugged me and walked out. But there's nothing like this.
To me, and like I said, my mindset this week will be different. Obviously, being the head coach, I've got a team to prepare. Right. Our staff has a team to prepare. Our staff has to have a different mindset. And we all know that. But we're also not naive to the situation of the beautiful thing of this rival. What is it? Is it like 8 miles between both schools?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Kind of like Duke and Carolina in basketball.
But it's the fact of I'm saying a number, and it obviously may be exaggerated. 90% of both communities work with each other, right? Somewhere in some way, shape, or form. Work at the same office or at the same construction company or wherever. That's the beauty of this rivalry, is because they get 364 days of bragging rights. Right. With their coworker that they're friends with for 364 days. But that one day, that's the beautiful thing about this. It is Carolina Duke basketball, but they get to play 2, 3, 4 times a year.
Yeah.
We get one time every 365. That's the beautiful thing, because it's such a small, tight-knit community that it's so intertwined that, we can be friends, in May or, and that type of stuff. That's the part that I think is fun for the community.
Right.
Because it is a bragging rights situation. And, so like I said, on my side and our coach's side, we're going to do everything we can to put the best product on the field. So hopefully our fans can have a happy 364 days. Because, ultimately that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to we're trying to go win a ball game each week, and we're trying to make sure that our community is enthused and has bragging rights of everybody we play. Right, that's our ultimate goal. So that's what this week's for. We're looking for a fun week. I know it's going to be fun at school. Every day there'll be something different, and Friday obviously is a unique day in itself for both schools. So like I said, I've got to be a little different in the mellowness, I guess you would say, from here on out. And then like I said, try to put the best product on the field for our fans, because we know it's at stake. Everybody knows that, but I don't want anybody to get offended when I don't mention it really after today.
Right. Let me ask you a question, Jonathan. Is that as the first-year head coach at Tuscola, yet you played 2 years in this rivalry, 2-0, I might add, that you were 2-0 in this rivalry. Do you draw off of Travis Nolan's as your head coach? Do you draw off of those 2 years that you played in this game for this upcoming week? Are you pulling things from him?
I mean, yes and no, and a lot of the stuff that I pull from him is the stay the course mentality of, I remember my senior year, we turned the ball over 3 out of the first 4 possessions, right? And we're down at halftime. And then next thing you know, first play, we get a kickoff return, first play of the second half's a touchdown, and then momentum's back in our favor. It's such an emotional game. We've got to be great, keyword great, at controlling our emotions this week. We do, because it is an emotional roller coaster. So I think that's something he did really well, was making sure that himself, the staff, and all of us players at the time were you can never be here in this game, but you don't want to be there. You just want to kind of ride the wave a little bit. And that's probably the biggest thing that I'll take away is from this game, at least. We say it each week, good things, bad things are going to happen every week in football. It's football. But understanding that the good and the bad are a little more elevated this week. So we've got to try to control that a little better internally, right, than your opponent. And that can set you over the edge this week.
You're coming off of a game where you really praised the officials by letting them play. It's been my experience that referees call a real tight game in the Pisgah-Tuscola game, or Tuscola-Pisgah, depending on what side you're rooting for.
Well, since this is a Tuscola Football Network, we'll
okay, you got me on that one.
The scab. That's internal.
Pulling up the scab. Do you have discussions with your team regarding?
Oh yeah.
About the referees? Right.
Well, we've had that all year, though. We've had those discussions all year, and so nothing will be new in that sense of us having those talks about it. And be smart, understand what's at stake. Don't talk back. Let me do the talking. Right. Let me do the talking to the referees, and those things. And I think so far our players have done a great job of that. But this week, we all understand, it is a different week. So I've got to make sure that I really stress that this week, to really make sure they understand that offensive line, keep your hands inside. Don't give them an opportunity, right? If you see the back of somebody's jersey, probably, I know you want to, but really got to hold up, because they will throw that flag this week, whether it's tight or not, because they understand what's at stake this week too, from the referee standpoint. So we'll preach that every day at practice. It won't be anything new, but it'll make sure that the intensity from us is, really make sure they understand it.
Jonathan, what is planned for the week? I know it's not homecoming. Homecoming has their special events, but this week, are there certain things, dress up day or whatever the case may be, this week for this game?
I'm not 100%. The old cliche, stay in my lane.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We do. Our leadership group of the school is tremendous, though. Miss Turner does a great job with those group of kids that get those things going. So I'm not 100% sure on what's going on exactly, but I know Friday's just a different day in itself. Obviously, the pep rally and all of that. But if there are things going on, it will be done very well. I'll say it that way. That group is tremendous.
Excellent.
And I guess if you want to know the schedule, just call the school and they'll be able to get the information to you. Because I'm pretty, again, I know what you're not, you're just in your lane.
Yep.
You're focused.
Yep.
Because I could tell last night, Chuck, that after the game, everybody's happy. Because look, they needed a win. The team needed to win. The program needed to win. The community needed to win. But I tell you, when it went 0-0-0, there was within 2 minutes, it switched.
Right.
And again, that goes back to what this really is. Chris Reddick, you remember Chris?
Right.
He's going to be here Friday. And you need to get me that information just real quick. But Chris is going to be here Friday. He's going to spend the day doing some things and do a documentary. But when we brought him that time, and he was, and he talked about some of the things over in East Tennessee and the rivalries and stuff. But when we were driving through, when we left my place here to get to the stadium in Canton, and you were driving, which is scary in itself, but from the second we got on the old Asheville Road, and we're talking 3 hours before kickoff, he just couldn't believe what he was seeing all the way through the end of the game. And again, I tell people, I've been blessed, man. My kids started on Monday Night Football in the Rose Bowl. I got to see everything. But my memory goes back to 2003 when Mr. McCracken called me at my office at like 2:30 and said, "Where are you and Janet?" And I said, "Well, I'm working." And he goes, "Man, you need to get here. You're not going to get parking." I said, "What are you talking about? I've been part of a rivalry, man. I went to Irwin. It's an Irwin rivalry." He said, "You better get here." And it was, I guess, 4:10 when we pulled up to try to get to the back part of the parking lot. And I was in line for 20 minutes at 4:10 just to get in the parking lot to park. And that was when we still had the pine trees.
Yep.
And by the time kickoff came, that was a year before you came, Chuck. And there was a lot of stuff that game because of the fact that he had come over, because of the fact that Travis was the former quarterback at Pisgah. So you had those two things, and then the rivalry itself. And I can remember just looking and seeing the people in the pine trees, 15, 20 deep on the fence. They were climbing on the apartment buildings back on the end zone on the opposite side of the scoreboard. They were trying to get on top of the school building over there, and thinking, my God. And I've never, when you guys came out to do pre-warm ups, before flex, there's 10,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah, it's different in a good way.
And it's just, it's amazing. And I know that, Chuck, you're talking about your first time in 04. I tell people all over the country all the time, you just don't understand unless you see it in person.
Right.
Unless you feel it, because it's palpable. It's almost a physical thing, is how cool it is. And yeah, you want to win, but when we had the radio show that time, and we had those guys on, and we brought all you guys that played in it back, and we did a radio show those years ago, and there's guys in there that played in 1966. And we had guys that played before it was Pisgah and Tuscola, when it was Canton and Waynesville, and they still get emotional talking about that, about their memories and walking on the field. And I don't know the year, but when they played it on Thanksgiving in the snowstorm, and these guys, they'll look at you, and these tough guys, and they'll get tears in their eyes. Man, it's just special.
Yeah,
it's just special. And again, I know what you're saying, but I also, I know in your heart, and this is pretty cool.
Yep.
And you live for this. You live for this. You breathe for this.
Yep. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
We still got 3 games. So
Yes.
that's the thing from my side. I'm the head coach. I have to have a different
Yeah.
mindset. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
We know what's at stake, but we've got to finish our season out right. We're gonna finish the season the way we need to finish it. But by God, this is the next game on the schedule, so we're gonna do what we got to do to make sure we give the best product. But we know it. Like I said, going back, I don't want anybody to think that I'm not in the game. Blah blah blah. Hell, I played in the game. I know what it means, and I know what it is. But we've got to do what we've got to do internally to make sure that we're prepared and ready to go face hell, they've only got 1 loss, so we got to go. We got to get ready to play a very good Pisgah team.
Really good football team.
Yep. Yep. This is going to be a good night in Henderson County for sure. So, well, I guess
our phone. The reason we're looking down, our phones are buzzing. I've got my watch, which is a phone. Usually during the show, people don't bother. So we probably had 15 phone calls already. So I know you're going to take care of what you're going to take care of. We're going to have fun Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to have our pregame show, and we're going to do the things that we are going to do while you're in your bunker.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a statement or a promise. We'll do all the analysis of both teams, but I'm not picking a winner. I got over that a long time ago. I want, if I get there, I want to just watch the game. That's all I want to do. I want to watch this beautiful, magnificent, spectacular rivalry unfold for 4 quarters. And, if it can end in a tie, I'd rather have that happen. But,
there's no ties in football.
There's no football. I get it.
There's no crying in baseball either.
But I'm not picking this game. This is one game I won't pick.
No, I'm with you. But, before we go, just remember tonight, right? Parade, bonfire, okay? The bonfire bash, 5:30. Be there for the parade at the Urgent Care in Hazelwood. Okay, starting at 5:30. Bonfire after. Food trucks.
Games.
Let's show up. Let's
cornhole contest.
Let's have a tremendous evening. It's for the community. I've told the football players that can obviously as many as they can show up. We're going to show up depending on prior engagements with family or whatnot. But let's have a fun evening. That's what this week's about. Let's start off right tonight.
And Chuck, we'll be back on Tuesday night. I'm taking my first break in about 3 years. So Janet and I, as soon as I clean this up, we're going to pick up Mama, and we're going down to Folly Beach until Tuesday afternoon. So we'll be back for our show Tuesday night. And Mom, real quick before we go, your grandmother, she took a thing of the I don't know coffee terminology, but she took the big thing of Orchard coffee home, and she called me again, and she said, "This is just like the Paris we drank, and the coffee we drank in Paris. It's that good." So visit our folks. Visit Sutton and Sons. Come see us here at Crompton's Auto Mart. Give us a chance. I know that and Orchard Coffee. Have a great week. You stay in your bunker. The rest of us in the community, let's have a great time. Have a great time across the county, because this is what it's all about. And if you hear or see us and you have never been, make a point to get there. Because you will, regardless of the score, regardless of anything else, you will be glad that you're in that environment. And Coach Matthews, I hope that you're over here Friday. I hope you take some time off and come and spend the day and go to the game with us. And so we can all sit up there together and enjoy what in I believe is the greatest high school football game in America. And I say that unapologetically, and that's not hyperbole. The greatest high school football environment in America. Tell me I'm wrong. Show me I'm wrong, because I don't think you can.
Mhm.
So good luck. I'm gonna shake your hand. You're my
That-
son,
that-
but I'm gonna shake your hand. Good luck to you. I just broke his hand
Oh,
because I am the
that-
man.
that was
Did
your
you hear that? His hand break?
that was
Yeah.
your pinky that popped.
Sorry. Chuck, take us out, my friend, because I know what this means to you this week, and I know we're going. He's going to be calm, but yeah, I'm going to let you get us out of here because I know you're already fired up.
Well, I am fired up, but we've been waiting for this for a long time, since the hiring back in the springtime of Jonathan, and we were always talked about all the great things and what he's going to accomplish and what he's going to do. But we also talked about the matchup between the two schools, this game, two head coaches that have played college football, started on the high school level, played college football, had NFL experience, and now they're coaching on the high school level. And what that means, and what is that, how does that play into it? So we've been waiting for this since the spring, and now it's here. It's Christmas time in Haywood County on Friday the 13th, mind you, Friday the 13th. So I wish you the best of luck, Jonathan, as
Thank
a coach,
you.
experiencing as a head football coach. So I do,
appreciate that.
and Coach Chappell also. I hope everybody's healthy for the game.
And we'll see everybody tonight.
Yep.
And where do you? It's one more time. Where do they need to park and what time?
5:30 at the urgent care in Hazelwood.
5:30 to urgent care in Hazelwood.
Let's have everybody show up. Let's have a good time and have a good evening and be safe.
And are you good at cornhole?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. He's challenging everybody.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I've seen some of these kids playing PE. I don't hold it.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys Tuesday night. God bless. Have a safe weekend.